Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And here we go.
All right, Rob, let's go Postal with this shit.
What's up, everybody? Thank you, Joseph. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas holiday, if that's what you celebrate.
Yes.
Or happy Hanukkah, if that's what you celebrate, or Kwanzaa, whatever. We're all inclusive here. At the Lone Gunman Podcast, it's Friday night. And just like the description says, if you read it, we're going to be talking about Julia Postal, Johnny Brewer, and Warren Butch Burroughs tonight. It's all about the Texas theater and the scafoozery going on around there, Joe, because there was a lot of it, buddy.
There is, and I wasn't sure how much there was, but I guess we can debate it as we go along. But I think let's first mention, because I went on our merch site today and bought a couple t-shirts of this new logo we have.
Okay.
And there is 25% off, but it ends today, as in 5 hours, 4 hours, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 hours.
So what you're saying is, if you want to save 25% off of your entire order, you got 5 hours.
Yeah.
Grab a hat, grab a hoodie, grab a t-shirt, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Can't make any promises for people on other sides of the pond, but I'm sure there are a few. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And yeah,
probably screwed because it's already tomorrow for them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know what time they're going on.
So we don't know how it works.
South to West gets the gold medal, Julia Postal, and yes, she is a baddie.
She lied.
No, she's cute as hell. I think she's cuter than Ruth and Marina.
I'll give you that.
Okay. Mr. Jack Taylor, how are you, sir? He got the silver medal. Congratulations. Then the DW.
What's up?
I believe got the bronze, but it's...
Who was in here first?
It looks like South to West.
South to West. Okay, yeah.
Jack Taylor and Derek Ward.
STW. Jack, Derek, what's up? Hello, Zendar.
Yes. How was your Christmas?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
It was fine. It was fine. Fine.
Did
One day
this-
of pure bliss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did the Scafusa kids stop by or?
Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I went to my father's. We had like a very small thing. So, and I kind of liked that.
Low key.
Yes. Evening all. Happy Boxing Day. I guess it's Boxing Day. Is that Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's like it's bigger than Christmas here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No idea what it means, but
And I don't like any Canadians box. Get the hell out of here.
let
Yeah.
me translate this tweet.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
Sally says, "Evening all. Happy Boxing Day. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas tree and Daddy Christmas visited me."
Does that mean Bobby Thundernuts?
Apparently so.
Well, I hope you guys had a great night.
AKA Father Christmas.
Trey, who is not the Trey tonight, but it's okay. We love you. He'll check in later during the show, catch the replay. All good. Happy holidays to you too, Trey. We love you. Claude Williams and Aunt Udine says, "Howdy, boys and girls. Hope that Santa gave you what you wished for." I got some good stuff, actually. I got some cash. I got some Zells. I got some clothes.
Six pack of Lone Stars, but
No.
oh no, she went crazy and got us a case of Heineken. They're living it up tonight.
Whoa. I respect it.
Big
And-
during Christmas.
By the way, my girlfriend went home to Pennsylvania today. So
Oh, that was an early Christmas present.
that is the
Just-
best present I could get. Eastlands all around.
Oh boy.
And by the way, Ruby was not a very good girl last week because she pooped in the corner during our last podcast on Friday.
That's because she heard you say you're leaving her for a month.
Yeah, well, we'll save that for members only.
She knows. You then.
Yes, yeah. So, James Smith, how are you, sir? And with a nice Goodfellas quote. So you think Joe is funny? Funny how? You mean like I'm a clown? Do I amuse you?
He does.
I do. I amuse you all. It's part of my charm.
Yes, like a
Um,
sad, very sad clown.
the double B, and you're going to have to get the horn ready as I go down here. But good evening, everyone. And as your good Catholic boy, I did go to church on Christmas Day by myself.
You did.
I wasn't on my knees, but I was in church with a bunch of old people, and it wasn't even full. And it was a 10:30 a.m. mass, full choir, trumpets, drums. It's kind of like sad, like the lack of, listen, like I'm not like a big religious person or anything. I just, kind of feel like I can need all the help I can get type of thing. And I'm one of those Catholics that go to Christmas or go to church on the holidays.
Enough to go to Christmas or to go to church.
Yeah. So, and it's and it's right down the street. So it's, didn't want to upset the man upstairs, if you know what I mean. Toops just made it evening all or
Toops.
morning to you.
Man from down under.
Yeah. Brian, H8S.
Brian hates.
Brian Hates. I hope. Oh, I see what you did there.
Hate us. What's up, Brian? Welcome.
Welcome, sir. How are you? Slacker Dan, what up? Howdy, friends. We got Peaches in here.
Anne. Hello, Anne.
I hope everyone enjoyed Christmas. And whoa, the double B gifted 5 Lone Gunman podcast memberships.
Oh shit, who got him?
Okay, let's see. Stephen Froze.
Or Stephen F. Rose.
Whatever, maybe he's frozen. It is blizzard. It is a blizzard here now. We have about 3 inches. Had to spend like 20 minutes, no, maybe not 20 minutes, 5 minutes with a towel drying Ruby off.
Dave Ferry's favorite 3 inches.
3 inches so far. It's predicted 6 to 12. So we're going to be growing as we go. Dee Robert.
What's up?
Mamir Extraordinaire.
I like that name.
I'm working on my Italian. I've been watching YouTube videos, actually.
Hey.
Mike, the library man, got, I believe, regifted one. I think he got one before.
He's back in, baby.
Yeah. You got to re-up those things, though, Mr. Mike. You know, you can't just rely on the double B.
That's right.
And Dave Sparks.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah, Uncle Dave.
We'll let Uncle Dave slide.
Yes, we will.
He's very elderly. No, I'm joking, Dave. You know I love you.
Tony Holman, you made it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I figure after the family time, we want to kind of disconnect and talk some JFK. Dogstar City, I believe, also from Australia, right? Looking forward to the show. 11:05 a.m. here in Sydney.
God
wow.
damn.
I thought it was like 7 or 8 a.m. It's almost noon there, huh?
That's far in the future.
Yeah, they are.
You missed a couple before the freebies.
I did.
Two.
Oh, Turin. What up, Turin? What up, buddy? Sorry. I didn't mean to miss you. And Provawan.
Provawan. Yes, young Provawan.
Yes.
Hello.
The double B distracted me. And your horn. Frankie G is here. Frank XG.
My horn's been known to distract.
Yes.
Yes.
Tiny Dancer. Boxing Day is for going to the horse races in my family.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? Like the track?
Well, apparently.
Or like horses as in like show horses and or
barrel racing.
Race horses. Barrel racing.
I don't know.
I don't know. Chabird, who is don't stop me. Jolene.
Yes.
I got it.
Joe is learning.
I'm learning. I'm a slow learner, as we all know.
He's special.
I am special, that is for sure.
But hold on. I need to reward Joe when he gets things right around here. So, yes.
I just did a bow. Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's my first bow.
Probably your last for a while.
Probably my last. Let me see if I missed anyone else. And I haven't. So, yeah, Rob, let's, why don't you give a little intro of what we're going to talk tonight, and then I'll get into Mr. Johnny Brewer.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. So tonight we're going to be talking about one of the key elements to the story. There's several key elements, I think, to the story of the Kennedy assassination and the Oswald arrest subsequent to the assassination. And this is one of them. And it's all about the Texas theater, because I was going to name this episode, Joe, I was going to name it Convergence. I was going to name it something clever, and then I saw that Gil Jesus beat me to it in an education forum post.
Oh.
Postal on Julia Postal. So I didn't want to steal his thunder. So let's figure they're showing the movie War is Hell, Bob, whatever.
I thought that was a great. I thought that was a great. When I saw it, I was like, "That's a really good title." And yes, I'm very aware. We're going to get into him shortly. I just had Brewer as a little joke.
Yes. But yeah, I was going to call this thing convergence because it seems like the stories that we're going to be talking about tonight come together in a very magical way, if you will. And it all stems. I mean, we've done the Tippit murder to death. Pardon the pun. So immediately following that, whoever killed Tippit ran away and is likely the person arrested at the theater. Now, you can choose to believe that man is Lee Harvey Oswald, or you can choose to believe that it's somebody else. Mm-hmm. There is evidence to support both of these theories, folks.
Yeah, 2 Scafuzas, balconies, conflicting testimonies. Yeah, it's
so on one hand, you have to look at the timing of things, Joe. Mm-hmm. And when the timing doesn't start lining up, because a lot of people out there believe that Oswald could not have made it to the Texas theater, to the scene of the Tippit murder in enough time after he left his rooming house to be the person to shoot and kill Tippit. And that's a valid argument.
A very valid one. Yeah.
When you figure that the shots happened at 12:31 p.m. and you go through the sequences of events that they have been presented to us, you have to figure the last shot is fired in Dealey Plaza. You have to run across the floor, hide the gun, get down the stairs, scafooze around for a little bit like you don't know what's going on, then sneak out, then walk
second floor encounter. Yeah.
You got to a couple blocks away. Get on the bus. Get off
the bus.
Walk another couple blocks. Get in a taxi. Get dropped off 5 blocks away from your rooming house. Then walk back 5 blocks, which takes time. You need to go inside. You need to change your clothes. You need to grab your pistol. You need to come back out and be seen standing on the corner, not walking away.
Right. Arlene Roberts.
Yeah. And then somehow make it 12 to 15 minutes from, like, say, 102 to the scene of the Tippit killing, and then run around the corner, which is where this story kind of picks up.
Yeah, dump your jacket and then have some Scafuza kind of follow you, and which would be Brewer, and it's kind of a mess. So, Rob, as we usually like to do, we usually start with the DPD first day affidavits, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. Is there a first day affidavit? I'm going to give you a couple test questions. Is there a first day affidavit, do you think, for Johnny Calvin Brewer?
Probably not.
There is not. Is there one for Julia Postal?
I can tell you there is not.
Butch Burroughs?
Probably not.
No. So are they trying to get their ducks in a row? Because remember, Oswald was allegedly arrested for shooting a police officer first.
Right. Well, here, like I mentioned in the show before, Joe, that consequently to Oswald's arrest, things got very messy very quickly with the FBI trying to step in and kind of take control of the investigation. Okay. They wanted all the evidence against Oswald, including the Tippit shit. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how all this would have worked itself out in the long run. I don't see them transferring Oswald into federal custody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he would have had to stand trial in Texas. This was a Texas crime, not a federal crime. So I think had Oswald lived, they would have had a field day in court with all this evidence and chain of custody. I mean, it would have been a nightmare.
It would have been a nightmare.
A nightmare. And just from looking into the whole Tippit thing, it seems like to me that investigation died with Oswald. Meaning, when Oswald died, the investigation of the murder of J.D. Tippit stopped.
Right. Which is what we talked about with Hosty, right?
As far as the DPD was concerned.
Yeah, but with Hosty too. Like, get rid of the note. He's dead. We don't need it. Shanklin to Hosty. That's it.
Right. But now the FBI did continue to investigate certain aspects of the case, as we'll find out tonight, for the Warren Commission. You know, I believe that they interviewed Brewer, Postal. I don't know about Burroughs. And of course, they gave their testimony to the Warren Commission for what it's worth, and it ain't worth much. Mm-hmm. And of course, in subsequent years, people have tracked these people down. I think Brewer just died in 2021, right? He lived a relatively long life. I'm right, Joe. Just say yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So, you know, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he was only 22 at the time, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised at the lack of official Dallas stuff. Although I am a little, I guess, left in wonderment why we don't have I mean, I guess they had their hands full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really, in the big scheme of things, these people aren't important. You know, if you're looking at it from a 30-foot view, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially. Well, because the story hasn't been made up yet, right? The story hasn't been given a chance to grow and let breathe, right? I mean, they got a lot of shit going on. Right. You know what I mean? And Oswald, they got him. So at that point, you know, they got probably the sheriff's office is full of scafoozles. The Dallas Police Headquarters is full of scafoozles and press and everybody else. So the focus shifts away from looking for Oswald or looking for the suspect to they got him. Suspect is in custody. He's been charged with murdering a Dallas police officer, which means whoever killed Tippit is the guy that they got in the Texas theater. And that's where their thinking was. So these people we're talking about tonight weren't necessarily necessary or instrumental at that time in getting testimony from, because it really didn't matter. They got their guy in the end.
Well, let me push back on that a little bit, because you have same day affidavits, and we've gone through it. We do it every Friday. We do it from every Scafuza witness in Dealey Plaza. But the guy that points out Oswald and, you know, notices he snuck into the theater, you're not going to get a first day affidavit for him. It was 16 days, December 6th, that Brewer was is the first interview on the DPD Portal to Texas History website. 16 days. Postal 14 days. So for me, they're trying to get their ducks in a row, and I get it. Like, they might be going chronologically, kind of like we do. But, I mean, come on. You're going to get, like, some random...
But, dude, like I said, you got to remember, you're talking, when you're talking first day affidavits, you're talking about Dealey Plaza, Texas School Book Depository witnesses. people closest to the most horrible crime of the century.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to be thorough, right? And they were. They got first day affidavits from a lot of freaking people. Those, like I said, the sheriff's office and the Dallas police headquarters was full of scafoozes that day, you know. And you got to remember, they got their man 2 hours after the President Kennedy shot. So they're already busy taking all this other testimony and affidavits, right? These people that we're going to be talking about today, at that point, like I say, with a 30-foot view,
right,
don't really matter very much.
Right. They're secondary in a sense.
Right. It's when you start looking at things and what they have to say under a microscope in a vacuum that shit gets a little squirrely, if you follow me.
I do.
So let's get into it, Joe.
All right. Well, we are going to start off with Mr. Brewer. I'm going to have trouble with that name. Brewer.
Johnny Brewer.
Johnny Brewer.
Johnny the Brews.
The Brews. Hey, I'm happy to call him that. That's much easier for me. All right. So the first three pictures here on top are Mr. Brewer. We're going to get into that. On the bottom left here is Butch Burroughs, and on the right is a different picture I found of Miss Postal.
Julia Postal.
Yeah, she's kind of a babe. So let's go to the first thing let's introduce him. John Calvin Brewer was the son of a foreman on a construction company. This is from Spartacus.com. John Simpian was born in Miami, Oklahoma. Not to confuse you with Miami, Florida. When he was 2 years old, and the family moved to Lockhart, Texas. After leaving Lockhart High School, he studied at Southwest Texas State Teachers College in San Marcos. Where is San Marcos? Somewhere in Texas, I'm guessing. I've never heard it before.
Probably close to southern Texas somewhere.
Yeah, SMU. Yeah. He stayed only for a year before moving to Nixon Clay Business College. In September 1961, he found employment at Hardee's shoe store in Austin, which, of course, oh no, that's the different location. 10 months later, he was made manager of the store in Oak Cliff, Texas. So he was kind of transferred.
Real quick, Joe, I should probably say this. People might be thinking these days, all right, what a shit job to work in a shoe store, right?
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, working in a shoe store was like kind of not prestigious, but it wasn't frowned upon as like a scafoozle job. You know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't, doing the floors on the 6th floor.
These guys wore suits. They treated you like family when you came in there. You know, they measured your feet. They got you your shoes. They slipped them on for you. They tied them, whatever. They took care of you from the moment you walked in that door to the moment you walked out with your bag, because they made commission on the shoes that they sold back then.
Yeah.
So, back then you might think, okay, a shoe salesman, why is he going through all these business schools and studying to be a teacher and then ends up working in a shoe store? These guys could make good money working in shoe stores back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, you go to work at Foot Locker, it's whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, you could have bought a house as a manager of the bookstore, I'm guessing at that point, and of course you can't buy a house these days if you work.
Yes, or a shoe store.
Yeah, anywhere under like $100,000. Like, good luck. Brewer was working in the store on 22nd November 63, he was listening to the radio when they broke in with the bulletin that President JFK had been shot after hearing a news flash that J.D. Tippit had been shot nearby. He saw a man acting strangely outside the shop. And we're going to get into whether he was outside or inside because the story kind of changes a little bit. The police cars were racing, quote, the police cars were racing up and down Jefferson with their sirens blasting, and it appeared to me that this guy was hiding from them. He's referring to Oswald, of course, allegedly. He waited until there was a break in the activity, and then headed west until he got to the Texas Theater. And this is, I believe, 50, 60 feet away. I think it's 3 stores down. I have a picture of it coming up. Johnny Brewer went into the theater and spoke to Warren Butch Burroughs, the assistant manager. Burroughs had seen him enter the balcony of the theater. When the police arrived, Brewer accompanied the officers into the cinema where he pointed out the man he had seen acting in a suspicious manner. After a brief struggle, Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested. So, as one does, this is a picture of the Hardee's shoe store, and this is on the right an article on November 27th, which would be 5 days after the assassination. I believe this was in the Dallas Morning News. The first fully detailed account. I mean, we're going to go through all this, but it's again November 22nd, 27th. He's not interviewed by the DPD officially under deposition until December 6th. So, why the holdup? Why the holdup?
Well, I told you, I think they had their hands full, and then once Oswald gets killed in custody, everything is a fucking mess. And then the dust settles a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
But he played the major role in getting Oswald arrested, which is what boggles my mind. Okay.
Well, excuse me. Let me say this.
Okay.
Maybe, but these cop cars and the cops were already on the run. Like, they were already looking. One of their guys had been killed. Right. So they're already looking for somebody on foot around this area. There's cop cars all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Brewer prompted Postal to call the police and say, hey, somebody's here, that's significant. But again, the ultimate prize here is they got him. They got him. And that's all that mattered in that moment.
Right.
And you don't know how this is going to end. You might think it's going to end in a trial until Oswald gets killed and until the FBI comes waltzing in and co-opting your investigation. But up until that moment, once they figure this all out, then they have to go back and start really backtracking and crossing their T's and dotting their I's and getting their shit together because they know a formal federal investigation is coming into the matter in the form of the Warren Commission.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that, but I'm saying 16 days. And we've had 2 comments from Tony Holman and Jack Taylor. They had to get the narrative together and they had to get the story straight. And I think, as you mentioned, things were hectic and maybe they were going chronologically, but
if they're retracing, everything from the point of the assassination, and they probably did go chronologically. You're going to start in Dealey Plaza. You're going to start in the school book depository. Mm-hmm. You're going to start by running down who knew this guy, who's related to this guy, where was he living, everything about the guy first.
Bringing in everyone on the 6th floor flooring
all
crew.
The witnesses second that you got to check into, right, for the Kennedy crime.
Yeah.
Then you get to the Tippit crime and all the witnesses. Then you get to the capture. Then you get to his murder. So there.
Ruby's happening. Yeah, I hear you. I 100%. I just find it. I just feel like there was some aspect of they're not sure what to do. And this kid, as we're going to hear from him shortly in a video, 22 years old, right? Young kid, younger than Oswald. So let me get back to this here. And this is what I am talking about. So I go on the DPD website and I'm looking for the affidavit of Johnny Brewer. And one says date November 22nd, 63. And the other one says December 6th, 1963. They are, in fact, the same exact statements, of course. So I don't know if that's an error. Who knows? We'll leave it up to you to decide. But it just seemed a little weird to me. And let's get to his statement. Friday, November 22nd, 1963, I, Johnny Brewer, was at work at Hardy's Shoe Store, 213 West Jefferson. I heard on the radio that the president had been shot, also that a policeman had been shot in Oak Cliff. At 1:30 p.m., I saw a man standing in the lobby of the shoe store. Keep this in mind. I saw him in the lobby of the shoe store, which means he's inside the store, right? That's how you would interpret that?
That's how I'd take it.
Yep. This man was wearing a brown sport shirt. He also acted as if he was scared. About this time, a police car came up the street going west on Jefferson. Of course, they're probably going to the Tippit scene or, doing whatever. There was a lot of cars going everywhere. When the police car reached Zang's, it made a turn and went back to east on Jefferson. After the police car passed, the man in the lobby walked up Jefferson towards the Texas Theater. I followed the man up the street and he went into the theater. I asked the girl, which would be Postal, in the box office if she sold the man a ticket. So this dude's playing private detective here, right? And she replied that she did not think so, that she had been listening to the radio and did not remember. Postal wasn't playing private detective, obviously. I went to the show and asked Butch, Burroughs, the concession man, if he had seen the man come in. Butch said that he had been busy and did not notice. So we got by Butch and Julia Postal. Butch and I then checked the exits to see if any of them had been opened. It's like, what the hell is he doing here? This guy, manager at a shoe store, like checking exits. The exits were all closed and did not appear to have been opened. I then went to the box office and told Julie to call the police. When the police arrived, the show was stopped and the lights were turned on in the movie theater. A man in the middle section, about 5 or 6 rows of seats from the back, stood up. When the police arrived, the show was stopped and the lights were turned on. A man in the middle section, about 5 or 6 rows of the back, stood up. An officer approached him and he hit the officer and knocked him back. Several other officers then joined the fight and the man was taken out of the theater. This was the same man I had seen in front of the shoe store where I work. The reason I noticed the man in front of the store, again, not in the store, as per his earliest affidavit, was because he acted so nervous. And I thought at the time he might be the man that had shot the policeman. Signed, Johnny Calvin Brewer. And of course, the 6th day of December, the same notary public lady that has done almost all the DPD affidavits that we've read. So now let's hear what Johnny Brewer has to say himself. And this is from Gil Jesus's
Johnny Brewer.
Brewer.
We
Let's
are.
see what he has to say, because it's a little interesting. And I want you to pay attention, Rob, to his eye contact, because he seems to look down a lot. And I'm not sure what's going on.
Suspicious.
It could be.
Yeah, it's always good to actually see these people and hear them and listen to them, because you get a much better sense of if they're full of shit or not when you actually see them talking and hear them talking. Call it the gut feeling, the sixth sense, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Jesus Christ.
And roll it.
I'm going to it once I figure this out. I need to work on my tab work.
And roll it.
It's rolling. Hold on.
And roll it.
It's about 3 minutes.
Johnny, when was the first time you saw Lee Harvey Oswald?
Saw him at Friday afternoon, November 22nd. He walked into the lobby of a store.
How far in did he walk?
Can you turn it up?
Just a few feet. He was standing right about where those tennis shoes are,
Oh.
right there, just about 5 feet from the door there.
I'll start it over. I turned it up all the way. I'm sorry. It was not turned up.
Johnny, when was the first time you saw Lee Harvey Oswald?
Better?
Saw him at Friday afternoon, November
Not much.
22nd. He walked into the lobby of a store.
How far in did he walk out there, John?
Just a few feet. He was standing right about where those tennis shoes are, right there, just about 5 feet from the door there.
What made you suspicious of this man who walked into the lobby?
Well, right after the president had been shot, they broadcast a description on the radio of this man. It was 5'8", 5'9", 150 pounds. And this Oswald matched the description. And just a few minutes before he walked into the lobby, on the radio they had a bulletin that an officer had been shot here in Oak Cliff. And he walked in, he matched the description. Looked scared, just the way he stood there.
You were standing right here behind the
Standing
counter.
right here behind the counter listening to the radio.
And where did he walk to? How far into the lobby did he come?
He walked right into the right-hand side of the lobby there, just a few feet from the door, and stood there looking in at the shoes there.
Were there a lot of police cars in the
Yeah,
area?
there was a lot of police cars. There were some cars coming up Jefferson Street. They made that U-turn there and went back down Jefferson, and when they did, Oswald turned and walked up to the theater. When he went out the lobby and toward the theater, I walked out to the sidewalk and
You could see how close. What, 2-3 stores down?
Well, we've looked at this before. This is a bad angle.
Yeah.
And this
go in.
is way closer than where Hardy shoe store. I mean, isn't this,
Right.
This is the Texas Theater right here, right?
Yes. Yeah, you could see well, no, you can't see that. So
Yeah.
it's probably taken after.
Hardy would have been like behind whoever's taking this video, like about at least 50 yards, 60 yards away.
That's exactly what he says, 50 to 60 feet, he says. But I have a picture of it in my next slide.
Then I walked up to the theater and asked Miss Postal there, the cashier, if she had sold a ticket to this man wearing the brown sports shirt, you know, his description. She called the police, and Butch stayed there at the front exit, and I went back down by the stage, the back exit, and waited there until the police came.
They get a suspect. I believe we have him in the Lincoln Theater now. 10-4.
What happened when the police came?
Well, just before the police got there, they turned the house lights on in the theater, and I looked out the curtain and saw Oswald, and he stood up and walked to the aisle there and then turned around and sat back down, almost where he had been sitting. then I heard this noise outside and opened the door, and the police grabbed me and asked me what I was doing there, and I told them, and they asked me if the man was still in the theater. I said yes. They asked me to point him out, so three other policemen and myself walked out and pointed to him, and Officer McDonald, he was the first one to him. He approached him, and Oswald stood up.
I'm John Brewer. On November 22nd, 1963, I was a fellow who followed Lee Oswald to the Texas Theater and pointed him out for his arrest. Just word, don't try to sneak in, I'll get you.
Ah,
Oh man, the shoe store salesman playing private detective.
I'll get you, boy.
I'll get you if you walk into the theater if you don't buy any shoes. Oh man.
I get a couple things from watching old JCG here.
Okay, give it to me.
The vibe is, I don't get a good sense that he's being completely honest about things. There's not a lot of eye contact. Like you said, he looks away or down a lot of the time and not directly at the camera or the interviewer when he's answering questions, which is suspect. And then I also can hear when he speaks about these people, and we'll get to it a little bit more here in a minute, but it seems to me like he knows these people on a first name basis. Like he knows Butch and he knows Julia, but he even calls her Julie.
Right.
Okay.
And
Which the
Butch
name
is,
she went by.
and Butch is the nickname too.
Yeah, the guy's name is Warren,
Right.
but you can call me Butch. But what's interesting is Julia Postal, okay, that's her God-given name. Okay, but she doesn't ever go by Julia. Everybody calls her Julie. I mean, Joe, look at this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is her headstone.
Huh.
She goes by and went by Julie. Everybody called her Julie. Even Johnny Calvin Brewer called her Julie at times when he's speaking about her. He calls her Mrs. Postal or Julie. So, very interesting, because at the time, you see, she was born in 1924. So she was pushing 40,
Mm-hmm.
okay, at the time of the Oswald assassination.
Yeah,
Or,
39. Yeah.
Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
So she was 39 at the time. And now Butch was more closer to his age, right? This Kafuza working the concession stand, but he knew this chick well enough to call her Julie at times. But we'll get there, I promise.
Yeah. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that you would know the names of the people you work a couple stores down from. That's not super sus.
Well, the
But
theater's not a store.
what?
The Texas Theater is not a store.
No, I'm saying you could imagine a scenario where he knows the people working a couple stores down from him.
Can you?
I think so. If
Really? Do you know people that work at a couple stores down from where you work?
I work virtually, so no.
Well, when you did work in a building, did you know people, 4 or 5 buildings away from you, half a football field down the street?
I did, for sure. I mean, I'm a personable guy.
You're not looking. You're not giving me eye contact. You're looking away.
I know.
You lying motherfucker.
Lying motherfucker.
You lying motherfucker.
So yeah, let's see some comments here. Did he or did he not buy a ticket? Johnny said he asked Julia but he didn't say how he responded. We'll get there in a couple minutes, Peaches.
We'll get there, Ian. Just hold tight.
Yeah, wow. I agree. And Paula has come in a little late. John Armstrong, she would start crying when anyone asked her if LHO bought a ticket. And I believe you'll probably get into some of that, right? Didn't she cry? I don't remember who asked her the question. It was Mars. Was it Jim? No.
Larry Ray Harris.
Okay.
Who, by the way, didn't publish it anywhere, and it's just hearsay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a problem.
Because
our favorite quote recently is, "That's a problem."
Conspiracy fodder. I asked Julie if she sold him a ticket, and she got very upset and ran out of the room crying. And then when she came back in, I asked her again, and she still didn't answer the question. So I take that as she sold him a ticket.
Yeah, I mean,
could, but again, we don't know that this interview ever happened. We don't know, much of anything about it. And Larry Ray Harris didn't publish hardly anything about it specifically.
Jack says, I actually snuck in the theater a couple years ago when the cleaning lady had the front door propped open. And you sent us a picture of that, and we're going to show it on members only, per your request in our group chat with you, me, and Rob. And yeah, I agree, Brandon. It's like he's thinking about what to say, not so much recalling what happened. And, the first day testimony says he kind of goes inside, and then it was standing outside, and then we're going to see what he says in his Warren Commission testimony a couple months later. I believe it was in May. And let me see if there's any other comments. All right, so let's get back to my precious PowerPoint.
And roll it.
Yes. So Brewer's Warren Commission testimony by it says Berlin, but I think that means Beelan. This is from Spartacus 2, and I have more stuff coming. When you looked up, Mr. Beelan said, did you step out of the store at all? No, Brewer says. I was still in the store behind the counter, and I looked up and saw the man enter the lobby. When you say the lobby of your store, first let me ask you to describe how wide is your store approximately? I mean, bullshit, 20 feet, who cares? All right, so you saw a man going into what you referred to as the lobby area, Yes, and he stood there with his back to the street, as in like facing away to not get noticed, I think is his implication. Beelan, when did he go in now? What did you hear at the time that he stepped into this lobby area? I heard the police cars coming up Jefferson, and he stepped in, and the police made a U-turn and went back down Jefferson. Where do you make the U-turn? Zangs. Do you remember the sirens going away? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But I just want to go back a little bit. To see where he says he didn't actually step in, because I read that recently. But I guess he did say standing in the lobby, so I guess that does kind of match up. So that's my bad. Then when Mr. Beelan, then what did you see this man do? He turned and walked out of the lobby and went up West Jefferson toward the theater. And I walked out front and watched him, and he went into the theater. What theater is that? Texas Theater. Why did you happen to watch this particular man? He just looked funny to me. Well, in the first place, I had seen him someplace before. I think he had been in my shoe store before. And when you wait on somebody, you recognize them, and he just seemed funny. His hair was sort of messed up and looked like he had been running. I mean, come on. And he looked scared, and he looked funny. Did you notice any of his actions when he was standing in your lobby there? No. He just stood there and stared. He stared. Yes. Was he looking at the merchandise? Not anything in particular. He was just standing there staring. Well, would you state then what happened? You said you saw him walk into the Texas Theater. He walked into the theater, and I walked up to the theater to the box office and asked Mrs. Postal if she sold a ticket to the man who was wearing a brown shirt, and she said no, she hadn't. She was listening to the radio herself, and I said that a man walked in there, and I was going to go inside and ask the usher if he had seen him. So, like, pause right here. I mean, is he really like thinking he's a private detective, like busting some guy going in, a theater? I don't know. It's weird.
Well, he's putting two and two together. He thinks because he's heard on the radio that the cop's been shot. The cops are zipping up and down Jefferson Street looking for somebody. He has an inkling this might be the guy, right? But instead of calling the police like he should have, or he should have just walked over nonchalantly and been like, "Hello, sir. Is there anything I can help you find today?" And just kind of got by the front door and then just locked the motherfucker in there and said, "Gotcha."
Right.
Yeah.
So I walked in, and Butch Burroughs, who was Burroughs? Beelan asks Brewer. He was behind the counter. He operated the concession and takes tickets. He was behind the concession stand, and I asked him if he had seen a man in a brown shirt of that description, matching that description, and he said he had been working behind the counter and hadn't seen anybody. And I asked him if he would come with me and show me where the exits were, and we would check the exits. And he asked me why. I would ask him why too. I told him I thought the guy looked suspicious. Could you tell me whether or not he bought a ticket? No, he just turned and walked right in. I heard a noise outside, Brewer says, and I opened the door in the alley. I guess it was filled with police cars, and policemen were on the fire exits and stacked around the alley, and they grabbed me. A couple of them, and held and searched me and asked me what I was doing there. And I told them that there was a guy in the theater that I was suspicious of, and he asked me if he was still there. And I said, yes, I'd just seen him. And he asked me if I'd point him out. And I and 2 or 3 officers walked out on the stage, and I pointed him out. And there were officers coming in from the front of the show, I guess, coming toward that way, and officers going from the back. David Ferrier reference. Then what did you see? Beelan asks. Brewer. Well, I saw the policeman approach Oswald, and Oswald stood up, and I heard him hollering. I don't know exactly what he said, and this man hit Patrolman McDonald. So, again, he's getting his story straight if he knows Patrolman McDonald's name at that point.
As most witnesses, as we'll come to find out, their memory gets better with age, apparently.
Yes.
But we'll get there.
Yeah. I found something interesting on the DPD portal to Texas history, and this is a memo to Henry Wade from Everett. I guess must have been one of his detectives. Subject, Ruby as an attention seeker, and they're just lining up all these people who said Ruby wants attention, blah, 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 blah. But there is a Dennis Brewer here. I don't know if there's any relation. I haven't had time to check ancestry, but yeah, who knows? Campese too, under there. This is interesting. So now we're going to go to the DPD case report on the murder of J.D. Tippit that was written by Jim Lavelle, on November 22nd, filed 63. Concerning the murder of J.G. Tippit, includes a description of Lee Harvey Oswald, a summary of the case, and a list of witnesses. I have an arrow here, a big one. Date and
wait a minute. Look at that address they have for Oswald. 1026 North Marcellus. Do you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Not North Beckley. It's North Marcellus.
Wow.
That's odd.
Yeah. And the date and time of offense, which would be the murder of J.D. Tippit.
Do you think that Oswald gave him the wrong address initially?
It's possible. I mean, we know he lied to the FBI in New Orleans. But date of offense, 1:18 p.m.
Yeah, they're just listing the Tippit murder as being 118.
Right.
I'm more intrigued by the address.
Interesting. Okay. I'll move here.
When they officially first interrogated Oswald at like 3 something with Hosty and Book out there.
Yeah.
Because Hosty wrote down 1026 North Beckley, like Oswald was telling the truth.
Right. And he gave O.H. Lee.
But you got to remember, this dude was in Dallas police custody from about 1:45. They got him in the car. He was probably down at police headquarters for an hour or so, an hour 15 minutes before they officially interrogated Oswald.
Mm-hmm.
This seems to me like they unofficially talked to Oswald, and Oswald gave him some partial bullshit address.
Very possible, sir. Very possible. And then maybe realized, oh shit, maybe I'll give my real one now. But
well, when Hosty shows up and he knows, because Hosty knows, Hosty'd been to Ruth's house at that point. Remember, he took the note down.
Yep.
So once Hosty is there, he probably knows, all right, well, the gig's up now. They know who the fuck I am. And
no, that's a good point. You're right. I think you're right. Where and how committed, 400 block East 10th Street with pistol. And so this is the report filed. It says on the DPD website, 11/22. And again, I'm going to go back here. Filed 11/22. So Lavelle's writing it that day, right? Like the day of report. They have Brewer here. Can testify that he saw Oswald come into his store. When a police car came by, he was acting suspicious. He followed him to the theater and told the cashier about him. She called the police.
Again, I'm sure, look, because, I mean, he's helpful to the police, and we'll find out more here in a second, but I'm sure they got this guy's name and phone number, like, we'll be in touch type of thing. And maybe took a brief statement, as to, I followed this guy here, whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't actually officially bring him in or interview him or have him do an affidavit until the 6th.
Right. But again, Rob, 16 days for the person that literally, that's why he was arrested for allegedly shooting Tippit. 16 days to get a affidavit from them.
Again, this guy's not going anywhere. Oswald's dead at this time.
Yeah.
Everything's, up in limbo. Tippit's dead. They got the guy that killed him.
I hear you.
Investigation's over. Now they're going at their own pace once they figure out, okay, well, there's going to be a federal commission looking into this.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought the FBI would do it. You know what I mean?
Well, they did do it, but just,
yeah,
they did it. and then the FBI comes in some months later. Not just 16 days. They came in like 2 freaking months later.
Yeah. And also note the Julia Postal can testify that she is employed at the Texas Theater, that she saw a suspicious person duck into the theater.
Did she know?
I don't know. We'll see. Just after the shooting of Officer Tippett, that she called the police and saw the man later identified as Oswald brought from the theater. So, well, that's the same thing. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this and hand it over to you, because that is Brewer. And, one last thing on him. Oh, shit. A 22-year-old kid can be easily influenced under pressure. His Warren Commission testimony is much longer than Butch Burroughs's, which, when they don't tell him, the Warren Commission, what they want to hear exactly, and we're going to get into that after we go through Postal, they cut him off right away. Oh, well, thank you for your help. Brewer's is probably 4 or 5 times as long. So that's interesting as well.
Yes, very. I was looking up here.
Thank you, David.
Where Julia Postal was living, since it had her address there. We'll get there. So before we get to Julia, I wanted to bring up some things. It's something that I found with Johnny Brewer, because this dude lived, like I said, until 2021. And he loved to talk about this shit. But of course, again, another guy whose memory gets better with age. Different facts get added into shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who lived at 621 North Marcellus? I don't know. Who are you talking about, Sally?
Actually, Rob, before you get to Postal, I have one more thing to share really quickly. If I must. I must
increase my bust.
I must. This is 2011 article. Dallas police honor man who helped nab Lee Harvey Oswald.
Real quick, Joe. No, I think Lee Harvey Oswald never lived on Marcellus Street. Ever, as far as I know.
I don't think so either. No, I think it's other people did. I can't think of who did, but it's Marcellus was like the next one over for Patton, right?
No, I think it was closer to the Carousel Club. But again, I don't know Dallas.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure Oswald never lived on Marcellus.
Yeah, but I just want to show you some propaganda Mockingbird article here. Again, November 23rd. So you're talking about, the anniversary, right? Essentially, day after. Or Dallas police honored a man on Tuesdays whose, quote, keen observation skills and strong sense of civic duty led them to Lee Harvey Oswald, who had crept into the back of a darkened movie theater to hide shortly after the assassination. Police Chief David Brown presented Johnny Brewer with the department's Citizen Certificate of Merit and praised his selfless and exemplary conduct 48 years ago during a ceremony at the Texas Theater, the same place where Oswald was captured about 80 minutes after Kennedy was killed. I'm just so overwhelmed, Brewer, 70 at the time, said after receiving the award and watching a video of his 22-year-old self recounting the events of the day. Manager, blah, blah, blah. and all the same. But it's funny, this this dude, getting articles written about him, getting awards. Like, it just seems like weird to me. I don't know what's going on with this dude. Ooh. What you got there? You're muted.
Sorry. An interview with Johnny Calvin Brewer by Ian Griggs from Dealey Plaza, UK. Fame. And this was done in 96. Now, Ian Griggs is a former police officer. So he knows how to question people and ask them questions. Okay. So a couple of things stood out to me with this interview that was done in 1996, again by Ian Griggs, who is from across the pond. But like I said, he's a former police officer.
Yeah.
So
Part of Dealey Plaza, UK, right?
Yeah, for the third time. Yes, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pay attention.
I'm looking at the comments, and Jack gives a really good comment here before you start. The FBI supposedly goes to Oswald's middle school principal, who is a J. Martin, by the way, right? What was his name? Yeah, to get his high school records, and they don't interview the theater employees for 16 or 14 and 16 days. Yeah, allegedly.
Well, again, the FBI is trying to cover their tracks to Oswald.
Right. But Beauregard Middle School, I believe it was called, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I thought that was a good comment. I'm sorry, sir. Pray continue.
Again, this is in 1996. So he starts off, just how old were you? He's 22. Blah blah blah. Hardy Shoe Store. He asked him, so you were in overall control of that shop, and he says, right. So it means he was running the place. He's the manager. He's got the keys. Yada yada yada.
Right.
He said he had been there since August of '62, which is important here in a second. He asked him because in the Dallas Police Department inventory of Lee Harvey Oswald's rooming house at 1026 North Beckley, there is acquired a pair of Hardy shoes that Oswald owned. Like, Hardy wasn't just the name of the store, Joe. They had a line of shoes that they made.
Wow.
Like, they were a small chain.
Mm-hmm.
But they made their own shoes. And Oswald had a pair.
All right. So he might have been telling the truth when he said, I think I remember this guy coming in at some point.
Well, we'll get there.
I said might.
Well, again, memory gets better with age. Don't forget that.
It's true.
And he says, to your knowledge, was Lee Harvey Oswald ever one of your customers? And now in 1996, yes, he was. Absolutely certain, Joe. Not maybe, might have. So that obviously means you had seen him in your shop before. Brewer says, at the time I saw him at the theater, again, this guy's in his fucking store first. Okay? But he says, by the time I had seen him at the theater, and I don't think he ever got a close-up look at Oswald, closer than when he was in his store. While Oswald is in a dark theater. Okay? Mm-hmm. But he says, after I saw this guy at the theater, I knew I had seen this guy before, and possibly that's even why he got my attention. Not the main reason he got my attention. I didn't place him until, I don't know, it may have been a month before. I can even tell you the shoe he bought. It was a 2-eyelet crepe-soled shoe, model 8110, size 8.5. So you go from maybe I've seen this guy before to yes, I'm certain I've seen this guy before. He bought a size 8.5 crepe-soled, whatever the fuck that guy just said, 2-eyelet, whatever. That's pretty specific to remember exactly which shoe somebody bought and what size it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I wonder if because Oswald was like a pack rat, right? He kept everything, like every receipt and things like that. I wonder if that was in his belongings somewhere.
what?
The receipt for those shoes.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
What
either.
I can tell you is this.
Okay.
The shoes are commission exhibit 147. If you can find a picture of that, Joe. Because I want to look at these bad boys. I want to see what kind of mileage they got on them. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason I'm asking that question. So while he looks for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man's black shoes, although I don't have the link, I will find it.
Griggs asked him, Robert Groden has said, and I don't know a source for this, that Oswald once entered your shop, tried on almost every shoe in the place, left without buying anything. Is there any truth to that? He says, no, he bought. He was very fastidious and meticulous, or just a jerk. I'm not quite sure which. And there was just this one occasion. He said, yeah, just one occasion. Like I say, I didn't have a clue who he was, just another sale. Certain customers stand out in your mind and you try to avoid them the next time you see them coming. But sometimes you're the only motherfucker working in the shoe store, Johnny, and you don't have a choice but to fucking help, help them.
Okay, I got it.
All right. Pop it up on the screen here. I want to see these bad boys.
All right, let me figure it out as I have a million tabs open here.
And go.
Don't rush me, brah.
And go.
Don't rush me, brah.
Can you get any closer?
How much closer can I get?
That's what she said. Now,
Joe, they look a little worn.
Yeah. They look a little worn for sure. I mean, they're busted out kind of in the middle of, not busted out, but they're kind of loose in the middle, if you will.
Yeah, the
obviously they were slip on, slip off. I'm sure he didn't retie them every time he put them on.
No, but you could see like the wear on the right side here.
And of course, this is allegedly supposed to, all this wear and tear, allegedly supposed to have been done in less than a month.
Does that say Hardy right there? That
Yeah.
H?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right here.
These are the shoes, yeah.
Okay.
Now, in the month prior to November 22nd, 1963, in the month prior to November 22nd, 1963, Oswald was living at the rooming house on North Beckley, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was working at the school book depository. Now, according to most of, if not all of witness testimony that was living at the 1026 North Beckley, his rooming house, that Oswald didn't go out much in the evenings. He would come home after work and go in his room, watch TV or something occasionally and act weird and all that. But so it wasn't like he was going out on the town every night, tearing up the dance floor,
right,
or walking anywhere.
Right. His typing class was back in April.
Yeah.
Right. So
And
that would be irrelevant. Right.
you're not going to wear this type of shoe to work in the school book warehouse, right? These are not going to be your shoes to do that in. I mean, you're not going to go like get some fancy dress shoes and wear them to go work in the warehouse. You're going to wear some old Scafusa shoes. You know what I mean? Something comfortable, because you're on your feet, you're walking all day, you're going upstairs, downstairs. You know, you're going to want something comfortable. So it's not like he wore these to work. So he didn't wear them after work, walking anywhere or whatever. If he had any shoes on at his house, you know, they're not going to get the kind of wear and tear that these things have. So that's a little suspect to me, Joe. That threw a big red flag up to me. I don't know. Let's see. Then he narrows it down a little bit. He says, how long before the assassination was that? Can you remember exactly when he came in to get these shoes? He says, that I cannot remember. I do not know. It was probably only a matter of weeks, but again, it could have been months. I'm not sure. Again, Oswald didn't come back to Dallas until October.
Yeah, early October. Right?
Yeah. And his first order of business would probably not go get a nice pair of dress shoes from the Hardy shoe store.
Yeah,
Again, he wasn't working yet.
Yeah, knowing his frugal nature. Right?
He was, you know, he's staying at the YMCA. He was staying at the other rooming house, right, with the old lady first for a week, and then he goes to Beckley.
Bledsoe?
Yeah, Bledsoe. Was Bledsoe's rooming house on Marcellus?
Who
knows?
Let me check.
But again, these shoes look like they are older and have more wear and tear. It seems to me like Brewer just saw this guy had a pair of Hardy shoes in his inventory and took credit for selling them to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At least that's to me what it appears to be. Much like in the same picture, there's a pair of flip-flops that Judith Baker takes credit for buying Lee Oswald. Okay? So these things can be co-opted. Doesn't mean anything. But what it does say is if you can prove that Oswald didn't
it was 621 North Marsalis.
Well, there you go.
So he gave them that address first.
No, he gave them 1026, which is part of the Beckley address, and he gave them Marsalis, which is part of the Marsalis address. He merged both rooming houses together and gave a fictitious address of 1026 North Marsalis. Which is
interesting.
Now, if you can prove that Johnny Brewer is lying about selling Oswald these shoes,
he did. You're right. I just went back to the slide. You're right. He merged them. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
If you can prove that Johnny Brewer has been lying about selling Oswald shoes, then that means that Johnny Brewer is a liar and cannot be trusted about anything he has to say. At least to me. If you're going to take credit for selling this guy's shoes, it's obviously been all scuffed up and look to me to at least be a couple years old. Then you're a liar, bro. And I can't trust what you got to say. So then it goes on, you know, and you know, cars are zipping up and down the street, blah blah blah.
All right. Officer's just been killed.
Yep. He asked him specifically, can you remember when you heard about the Tippit killing, the shooting of the policeman? He says, I've never really thought about that. Yeah.
Wait, didn't we just read his Warren Commission testimony where he said he heard about it on his transistor radio?
Dude, this is odd. He says, Greg says, but at the time, there was no connection between Kennedy and Tippit. And Brewer says, not that I know. Greg says, fine, was there, if you can recall any description of the suspect in either of the killings given out on the radio? Brewer said, in the shooting, I'm pretty sure it was the shooting, a description of a shooter. You know, it was. I don't recall if they said white or black. But I do recall a male, 5'9", medium-sized build. There was no description of clothing. Greg says, I understand. Now I know the layout of the shop, the way the door was recessed, and the display panels on the sides. Now your counter and your location. Would that be facing the door on the side? And we saw that from the news footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. So pretty awkward if you're Lee Harvey Oswald, right? Or whoever this person was that dipped into the Hardy shoe store and is standing there with your back turned, looking at shoes, pretending to look at shoes, and you hear on the radio behind you, a description of a shooting suspect that kind of matches your description, and a Scafooz is standing there looking at you, listening to the radio, thinking, this guy looks like the description. Awkward moment there, probably, if it actually happened, which we don't know. Let's see. Now, Brewer says that there were two other guys in the Hardy shoe store at this time. And he says they worked at IBM. They were in the neighborhood. I had known them ever since I came there. Customers? No, they weren't customers. They just come in and kill time and lounge around.
Interesting. I don't remember him mentioning that during his Warren Commission testimony that I read today.
So apparently, two guys that worked at an IBM close by, which I'm guessing was a copier place or somewhere. I mean, I don't think the IBM had a factory in town. I don't know. But these couple guys like to go hang out in the Hardy shoe store and not buy nothing, just hang out and smell the leather, rub each other's feet. I don't know what the fuck's going on in here.
It is a good smell, the leather. I will say that. A fresh leather smell? Come on.
More of the stench coming out of that leather shoe.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm talking about new shoes. Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking about the smell of like how David Ferry's feet would smell if he'd been wearing these shoes all day.
Right. Interesting.
But yeah, he says they weren't customers. They just come in and kill time and lounge around, kind of like Oswald at the Crescent City Garage.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. He says, were there any other salesmen in the shop apart from you? He says, no, there were not. In fact, I planned to be off that day, but my assistant called me in.
He bought a car.
His newborn was ill, and I had just taken delivery of a brand new 64 Ford Galaxy CL 500.
Let me see if I can find it.
Being at work that day.
Let me see. What is it again?
This is a badass car, actually. A 64 Ford Galaxy CL 500. This was what we call, folks, a pussy magnet back in the day. Or a dick magnet.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Every side Brewer was on, and, whatever. Yeah, pull up a picture of that Ford Galaxy. I only know this because a buddy of mine had a silver one growing up with a black convertible top.
Yeah, no, I believe he said this in his Warren Commission testimony or something. I believe it was his Warren Commission testimony. So, yeah, I mean, bro, this is a sweet car right here.
Yes.
Look at that. They don't make them like they used to.
A silver one with a black convertible top. I mean, these were sharp, man.
Oh, he had a convertible top on it. Let me see. Is this
my friend did?
Oh, your friend did. Okay.
Yeah. They made them with the convertible tops for sure.
Is this one? Oh, yeah. I think this is a convertible top, right?
Yeah.
But not silver, of course. But yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So Johnny Brewer just bought this sweet car. He's obviously doing well at the shoe store. You know what I mean? I told you they were prestigious jobs back in the day.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a skafuza working in a shoe store like
Right.
you have now, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And he says these guys, he said my car was parked out front so I could keep an eye on it, and I was feeding nickels into the parking meter all day long, just waiting to get off so I could drive it.
Didn't want to get a ticket on the first day you got it.
And the guys from IBM just stood around and talked. And he says, now your attention is alerted to this character who's acting furtively in your doorway as the police cars are going by. Am I correct? He says, of course, my attention is drawn out because of the sirens and the police cars going by and knowing of the shooting in the area. And I was actually on my way to come out from behind the counter to go outside so I could see what the hell's going on. When this fellow entered from my left as I'm standing there. Now that's important because I've never seen anywhere in any book which direction he's come from. He's come from the Zangs Boulevard direction, which is the intersection. He walked into the recessed area and stood, and we were looking at each other. And actually, I was a little annoyed because I thought it was someone coming in as I was fixing to go out. And then when the police had gone by and he looked over his shoulder and then walked out on the sidewalk again, looked and then walked quietly but calmly. And I stood there. It couldn't have been more than 5 seconds. And Greg says, and he's walking in which direction now? Towards the theater. And he says, in your testimony, you said he looked funny. Those are the actual words you use. Can you expand on that at all? Looked funny? What does that mean? He says, well, he obviously wasn't looking for shoes. And then he says, when you left the shop to see what this chap was doing, did you mention anything to the other two skafuzas who were in your shop? Oh, yes. I think I said something like, well, he says, I think I said something, and I walked out onto the sidewalk. Hey, guys, watch the store. I'll be back. I'm chasing a suspect.
Yeah, right. Watch over the cash register.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then he said he caught him again as he's walking in front of Thompson's furniture store, which is down the street a piece closer to the Texas Theater. He says he was right there in that area when I picked up again and saw him. And he says, now you were suspicious because of his appearance and the fact that he'd been in the recess of your shop for what appeared to be reasons of concealment. Is that correct? Brewer says, well, and also, why wasn't he interested in all the police cars going by as everyone else was? Everyone was out on the street looking. Like right now, if a police car came by, we'd all be out there looking. That's the way it is. So that kind of struck me as odd. He's looking at shoes instead of looking at the police cars. So that's why you stepped out of the store and looked, and he's walking down by Thompson's furniture store, and he's still walking. Okay, now I understand. He then entered the Texas Theater. Brewer says, right, I saw him go in. Okay, and from your vantage point, you see that he went in without buying a ticket. Brewer says, well, you could see the cashier's booth, which was out on the sidewalk. Not really, but okay.
Not really.
Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick. I've got a picture here.
You really can't see because it goes back and
it's recessed back.
Right. So if you're standing, say, in front of the shoe store, Hardee's, it would be extremely hard to tell if he ducked in or not, or paid.
Or even if you're on the sidewalk, but you couldn't tell. You'd have to get up close enough to have the right angle to see into that recessed area of the building.
Exactly. Yeah. I meant like, say he just like stepped outside of his shop a couple steps. The angle doesn't work.
Right. He says, I didn't really know for sure whether or not he bought a ticket. I saw him walk in, and that's when I went back, and I can't remember either of their names, but one of them closed up for me while I was gone. When I came back, the store was locked. I said, I'm going to check. So, this is the first time he's ever said this, that he went down, he followed Oswald down to saw him going to the Texas Theater. Then he turns around and goes back to his shop. But in the meantime, these two scafoozles that work at IBM have took it upon themselves to lock up his shop.
Yeah, let's close up for you because you walked a couple feet. Unbelievable.
Tell me that's not weird.
That is so weird.
So he sees Oswald go in, then he goes back to his shop, talks to these guys for a minute, locks up his shop. I don't know if they're still there, but then he goes back to the Texas Theater. So you have time passing here, okay?
Yeah, and he can't remember their names.
Right.
Right.
But they hung out there all the time. And he leave his shop and go running down the street.
Oy vey.
So then he says, when I came back, the store was locked. I said, I'm going to check. Greg says, you got a feeling all was not right. And Brewer says, right. So they stayed there, and I walked back up to the Texas Theater, all the time thinking, what am I doing here? And I saw Julie out on the ... Okay? Remember, Julie, a woman who is pushing 40, to a 22-year-old Johnny Calvin Brewer, she is not Mrs. Postal. She's Julie, not Julia, Julie. The weird.
A little bit. A little bit.
He says, Greg says, now you knew Julia Postal, didn't you? What did you say to her? He says, I said, Julie, did you sell a ticket? ... And I gave her a description of the guy. She said, no, she hadn't. She'd been out on the street watching. And I said, Julie, I'm going to go inside and see if I can see him. There's something funny going on.
So he didn't pay either, for the record.
He said, yeah, I walked inside. Butch Burroughs, he was the concessionaire and ticket taker and whatever else. And I asked Butch if he'd seen anybody in the theater, and he said no. But he'd been down behind the counter stocking concessions or whatever. He had not seen anybody. And I said, Butch, come on with me. And we went up to the balcony. And using the screen as a backlight, we could see that there were no heads up there. So the balcony was totally empty, Greg says. And Brewer says yes.
Right. Because there's only 15, 20 people, I guess, seeing that movie, right? And of course, they lost the manifest list of who was there, right? So unless you were like trying to smoke a cig upstairs, not be bothered, or get a better view, like there's no reason to not sit downstairs.
Right.
In theory.
So,
yeah, Timothy Ryan, all this stinks to high heaven.
Yeah.
I can't agree more.
We're not even halfway there yet.
No, we're not. And we're an hour 40 in.
Are we?
Ooh, yeah.
We're an hour 40 in.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
Time flies when you're having fun.
What the hell happened?
Hey, our members only was like 240.
Oh my God.
The other day.
All right. Well, I better speed this up then, because we'll never get done cruising around through this bullshit. So
yeah,
maybe we'll save a little bit of the Johnny Calvin Brewer interview for members only.
Yeah. And we're going to get to Butch. Soon.
Yeah, we still got to get to Julie and Butch. So we know the Julia Postal story, right? The interesting thing with Julia Postal is not necessarily whether or not she sold Oswald a ticket. I mean, at this point, she's either lying or she's not. She says she didn't. But she also didn't see him sneak in the theater. He would have had to walk literally right by her. I mean, you would notice. Unless you have your head down on the ticket.
And listen, there's no effing iPhone where you're like doom scrolling and like on TikTok or something like that and like not paying attention, right? Even if you're listening to a radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, by the time they talked to these people, by the time they took Julia Postal's affidavit, it is December 4th.
December 4th, yeah.
December 4th. Julia Postal's affidavit. These people who knew each other intimately, and by intimately, I mean on a first name basis, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Butch. He knows Julie. They know him. They had time to talk, to get their story straight and figure things out.
But he doesn't know the Scafuzas who helped.
Right. We used to hang out in a shop all day, rubbing each other's feet,
Unbelievable, man.
You can't make this shit up. Now, interestingly enough, Joe, Julie Postal was married to, I believe, Lawrence Postal. Okay. Now I'm going to pop this up here real quick.
Okay.
Lawrence Postal is from New York. He's a New Yorker at heart. Okay. But he was born in 1910, which was 14 years before Julie Postal.
Mm-hmm.
So he is 14 years her senior at the time that they get married. Okay. Now, they meet in California. At the time, Lawrence Townsend Postal is living in Los Angeles, and he is working at the Paramount Theater on 323 West 6th Street, Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
So he is a theater worker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which makes sense, right?
Well,
theater workers kind of meeting each other, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But at this time, he was married not to Julie or Julia. He's married to Mrs. Irene Susan Postal. Okay.
I see this.
So Mr. Lawrence Townsend Postal was married before he got with Julie, sweet young nubile Julie.
Hey, I will say this. I do not blame Mr. Lawrence Townsend there. She is dope, even at 39, as we see. I mean, damn. And I'm 39. Damn.
It's crazy. So I wanted to pull up something here real quick. So I've got, ironically, I have Lawrence Postal's tombstone as well. Now, old LT, as I'll call him from here on out, didn't last too much longer past the 1963 there. Right. You can see he passed away July 21st, 1969 at the young age of 59. Right?
World War II veteran. Yeah. Yep. What is that? United States National Reserve? I don't know. Regiment 2?
Naval Reserve?
Naval Reserve? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know
either.
But yeah, he was a World War II vet. In fact, that which I just showed you is his registration card.
Yeah, it looked like one. Yeah.
For the
yeah. And by the way, 30 years old is very long in the tooth. I mean, to get into World War II. You know what I mean?
Back then, they were desperate. All hands on deck. It's World War II, man.
That is true. That is true. But
Now-
still, long in the tooth. Yes.
What's interesting is that this guy, LT, was her first husband. Okay. And only husband. She did not remarry after his death in 1969. With LT Postal, she had 4 children, 3 daughters, Michelle, Susan, and Cheryl, and 1 son, Michael. She also went on to have many, many grandchildren. Right? Julie Postal passed away in 1995 at the age of 71.
Come on, Sally.
She was a member of St. Paul's United Methodist Church, Joe, and the Pink Ladies Auxiliary at Matagorda General Hospital.
The Pink Ladies.
And she had the jacket to prove it, baby. Pink Ladies.
Woo! And yes, Jolene, we are going to get there very shortly to Burroughs. Trust us.
All right, here we have the marriage announcement.
Mm-hmm.
The marriage of Miss Irene Simpson and Lawrence Postal, both residents of San Jose, was solemnized at 4:00 yesterday afternoon at the home of Reverend and Mrs. Paul Offenheiser in Southgate. Mrs. Postal, is a former resident of Indiana, and her husband, who is assistant manager of the California West Coast Theater in San Jose, is a former New York man. And this is from 1930 when he married his first wife. Okay. Interesting. And then we have some scafoozery going on, Joe.
Don't we always?
We have some scafoozery. So Shirley Martin, right?
Right, the researcher.
Yep. In the old Weisberg archives, and she was writing Harold Weisberg frequently, keeping him abreast of her research, if you will. And she found something pretty interesting on old LT.
Abreast. What did she find?
Well, old Lawrence. Okay.
I see.
What?
Intelligence community?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Was Lawrence in intelligence?
No.
Okay. That was my guess. Sorry.
No.
Continue.
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
He was a criminal. Wanted for embezzlement. Actually. I don't know where he was working in Dallas at the time. But he was wanted for embezzlement and went on the lam. Left Julie and the kids and said, see ya, peace out, fuck you, find me. Did he? Right?
4 kids, right?
Yeah. And this was pre-assassination. But not by long. So a couple months before the assassination, LT, wanted for embezzlement, under investigation, dips on her and the kids.
He sounds like a good guy, like David Fair.
Great guy. Great guy. So I came across, like I said, Shirley Martin, right? She sends this little something to Harold Weisberg. It says, Julie, Postal's husband, again, Julie, is still under the hand of the Dallas police for embezzlement. Buddy Walters told me he had to go to Florida to bring Postal back to Dallas. This was before the assassination. This is Julie's pressure point. In my dealings with her, I found a terribly frightened woman, frightened of displeasing the Dallas police.
Wow. Okay, hold on. You're talking about they brought Julie back, not Lawrence.
No, they brought Lawrence back.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Julie never left. She's there with the kids.
Yeah.
LT left.
Got it.
And Buddy Walters had to go to Florida to arrest him or to bring him back. I guess he got arrested in Florida for some reason, or got picked up in Florida. And so they called the Dallas County sheriffs and they sent Buddy Walters to bring him back.
Which, by the way, means that there's some type of leverage there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's exactly what that means.
Exactly. And then it goes on. Shirley says, Butch Burroughs told me that Brewer's story of Oswald dashing into his foyer to hide was absurd. Now, again, let me read that again. Butch Burroughs, the Scafuza at the Texas Theater,
the concession Scafuza, which we'll get into shortly,
told Shirley Martin that Brewer's story of Oswald dashing into his foyer to hide was absurd. According to Burroughs, Brewer changed his story from the original version, which, as he told Burroughs, had Oswald browsing in front of Brewer's shoe display. Not too unlikely, as both Lee and Marina were involved in a discussion that evening over buying a new pair of shoes for Junie, which he also mentioned to Robert Oswald when he visited him in the Dallas jail.
Did they sell kids' shoes?
Sure.
They did, okay. I don't know. It looked like a business type of shoes.
But anyway, they're trying to give Oswald a reason for being in the...
Right.
Which, whatever the fuck. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you.
What's more interesting to me is LT being a criminal. Now, when he passed away in...
when 69?
His cause of death was listed as a coronary occlusion, whatever that is.
I have no idea.
I don't know what that is. But at this time, Mrs. Julia Postal is listed as the wife and the informant. So she is the one, I guess he died at home and she had to call 911.
Oh, she found it.
Somebody called 911. Yeah.
She's good at that. Thank you, James. Nice find. This could explain a lot.
It's a lot. So, real quick, you want to see the postal residence in Dallas?
Oh yeah, give it to me. Is it
better? All these fucking kids and we're living?
Is it better or worse than Ores Pena's place we showed on members only? I think I know the answer.
It's worse.
I figured that.
It's a shithole. I mean, it's Scafuza heaven.
Scafuza heaven.
I mean, it's a little boxy house.
Right.
So, I mean, if this is what it looks like now, it might have looked decent in 1963, but it's still a tiny little shitbox house. And when you got 6 people living in a house this size, it gets crowded.
I'd be surprised if there were 3 bedrooms in there. There's probably 1 or 2, 1 bath.
Right, a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house.
Right. That's
an air conditioner in every window, no central heat or central cooling.
Well, that's now, right?
Okay.
But
you can imagine what it was like back then. Definitely nothing.
Definitely no air conditioning back then.
No,
I guarantee that.
So we're talking. This is a tiny little dude. That's
look at that.
It's not very deep, is what I'm trying to say. What you see is what you get.
That's what she said.
So we're. There's a lot of little shitbox houses around here. Yeah. Oh, that one's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Except the roof's all fucked up.
They have fences, at least.
Yeah. Royal fences. Emblazoned. Yeah, they're painted blue on that one, but these have gold.
Oh, wow.
See how the roof kind of bows down in the middle?
Yeah.
There's structural damage there for sure. Look at all the cameras on the roof trusses.
Oh, man.
Man.
And you know what's going on there.
Obviously, we're in a bad part of town here, folks.
Yeah.
Obviously. Seavers.
Right. But again, it points to someone who could be
Look at
pushed
that.
on.
Look at that wheel and tire there. That's kind of fucked up.
It's flat.
No, there's two of them.
Oh, there's two of them.
And there's two gas tank doors.
What
That's
the hell? That has to be.
Is this AI we're looking at here, folks?
I don't know. I've
Wow.
never seen that before in my life.
That's
And
weird. That one looks normal. This old cop car. Well, let's go down the street here and see what's up in the hood. Oh, look, Texas areolas. They sell nipples in Texas at Areola's Body Shop.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that. And this is like today.
You know what an areola is, don't you, Joe? That's the area around your nipple.
I did not know that.
You did not know that. Truly, that is the area around your nipple.
Oh, thank you. I learned something new today.
So, across the street, we got Soul Bite.
Soul Bite.
Just let your soul glow.
Oh my god.
What else we got going on here? There's a suspect looking body shop. Sanchez Auto Parts. Yeah, that looks a little sketchy. Where it's still in the hood here.
Look at
Here.
Yeah.
Obviously an old gas station with no more gas. But yeah, so that's the corner of Severs and Sainer.
Oh man.
Not sure if this is Oak Cliff. Don't know, but yeah.
It might have been Irving. Either Oak Cliff or Irving. I think it's one of those two.
Yeah, I don't know without, of course, going back out of
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Exactly where the hell we are here, but
yeah.
I don't know. No, it's definitely an Oak Cliff.
Oh, it's an Oak Cliff. Okay.
It's Sainer apparently intersects with Beckley and Marsalis at some point. Huh. Interesting. So she lived close by, basically. Not out of the realm of possibility. Now, the last thing I have, and then I'll give it back to you, Joe.
Okay.
Is from Bill Simpich's State Secret. Okay.
Yep.
He puts the time of Tippett's death at 1:09, roughly, according to an amalgamation of all the evidence. Okay.
Okay.
Oswald has not yet been identified as a suspect because the shells were not found until 1:12. He's talking about up in the 6th floor. Right. That's about when the shells were found. Even after the rifle was found a little later, nobody was able to tie the gun or shells to Oswald until early the next morning after going to Klein's Sporting Goods in Chicago, where, quote, Alex Heidel had mail ordered the Mannlicher Carcano found on the 6th floor that apparently shot the shells. It says by around 1 p.m., Oswald reaches home in Oak Cliff, changed his clothes, grabbed his revolver, went back out the door. A police car beeped outside Oswald's home shortly before he left. The distance from Oswald's house to the theater was about a mile, which is roughly 3 minutes if he got a ride, 15 minutes if he's on foot. It was roughly the same calculus if Oswald headed towards the Tippett crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more likely, he says, that Oswald went straight to the Texas Theater and was never at the Tippett crime scene because Butch Burroughs, the concessions employee for decades, told Jim Mars in 1987 that he sold Oswald popcorn around 1:15 p.m. Now, of course, Burroughs doesn't mention this in his Warren Commission testimony, but we know how Warren Commission testimony goes, Joe.
Yes.
You don't offer up any information, and you only answer the questions that they ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not go off the script, or that's it, right?
Right. And the lawyers know exactly what to ask, and when you go off script, they change the subject.
Yes. So, you can't be selling Oswald popcorn at 1:15. He's supposed to be over there killing Tippett, right? At this time. Dale Myers challenged Burroughs, saying that he told the Warren Commission that he didn't see Oswald slip into the theater. He also didn't mention selling popcorn to Oswald. But Myers missed the point. Ticket taker Julia Postal quoted Burroughs as saying, "Well, I saw him coming out, presumably when Oswald bought the popcorn." Burroughs was never asked by the Warren Commission if he saw Oswald prior to the police hunt. Again, very specific questioning by the Warren Commission of these witnesses.
Yep, I have some slides on that in a couple minutes.
He goes on to say Burroughs didn't have much to offer the Warren Commission. It would be good to find out how he was prepared for his questioning.
Yeah.
Although he did hear from the shoe store owner down the street that someone had slipped into the theater without paying. This someone may have done it precisely to draw attention to Oswald. Burroughs didn't know who it was, but believed that anyone who did that had gone straight up the stairs to the balcony, because otherwise he would have had the right angle to see who it was. Oswald was arrested on the ground floor. He told the commission, "I hope I helped you some," and the response was merely, "Yes, I hope you did too." Burroughs also told Mars that Julia Postal knew that she sold Oswald a ticket earlier that day, but didn't want to admit it. She moved away from Dallas to escape questioning on the subject and her Scafuza husband, apparently. When Miss Postal was asked by researcher Jones Harris if she realized upon seeing Oswald's face that she might have sold him a ticket, she burst into tears. This is the whole tear story,
Right?
That we can or cannot corroborate. But yeah, there are some other things here, but I'll hand it back to Joe, and we'll get there.
Yes. So as Jolene has been anxiously awaiting, let's talk about Warren, quote, Butch Burroughs.
The Brews.
I like
Warren
that.
the Brews.
Assistant manager of the Texas Theater in Oak Cliff. John Brewer, the manager of Hardy's shoe store, saw a man acting strangely, blah, blah. We already went over that. Brewer went to the theater and spoke to Burroughs about this suspicious character. Burroughs had seen him enter the balcony of the theater. When the police arrived, Brewer accompanied the officers into the cinema, this is from Spartacus, where he pointed out the man he had seen acting in a suspicious manner. After a brief struggle, Oswald was arrested. Burroughs claimed that Oswald entered the Texas Theater just after 1 p.m. He also testified that Oswald came downstairs and purchased some popcorn at 1:15. You just mentioned this. So let's go to Butch's Warren Commission testimony. Were you ever in the Army? No, sir. They tried to get me, but I couldn't pass. I passed the physical part. Am I sharing this? Yeah. I passed the physical part, but not the mental part. AKA, he had some issues. Not that I'm hating, but I didn't make enough points on the score.
Would Joe have passed the mental part?
Doubtful. So the board sent me a card back and classifying me different. On November 22nd, you were working at Texas Theater. Yes, sir. Did you see that man coming into the theater? No, sir, I didn't. Did you have any idea what you were doing when he came in? Well, I had a lot of stock candy to count and put in the candy case for the coming night. And if he had came in, and again, this is like 1, 2 o'clock. So I'm not sure why he's doing that for the coming night, but again, he has mental issues. And if he had came around in front of the concession out there, I would have seen him, even though I was bent down. Whatever that means. Maybe bent down, like stocking the shelves, right? I would have seen him, but otherwise, I think he sneaked up the stairs real quick, fast, up to the balcony. Yes, sir. I think he was up there.
But again, even if he's bent down, stocking the candy case, they generally have a glass front. Am I wrong, Joe?
You are not.
That you can still see through?
Well, you have to choose your candy.
Right. and if you're in the back of it stocking it, you can probably see out through the front of it. I'm guessing.
Yeah. I had two of my best friends work at a movie theater in the town next over, and I lived at that that um, the candy stand, if you will, and free popcorn, all that good stuff. So yes, 100%, you have to see it.
Yeah.
Was he handcuffed? Oswald. Yes, Burroughs says. Were his hands behind him or in front of him? They were behind him. Did you ever see a police officer strike him? Burroughs. No. So is this McDonald's story bullshit? Might be. I don't know. Did you see a police officer with his arm around the neck of this man who arrested him? I don't believe so. Did you ever see a police officer strike this man with the butt of a shotgun? So again, Mr. Ball here. Joseph Ball. No, sir, Burroughs says. But he's asking about a shotgun, right? Not a pistol. You see where I'm getting at here? Like they form the questions to get the right answers. Were any of the officers in the theater armed with shotguns? No, sir, I don't believe so. I think that's all. And then after he gives answers that they don't like, that's all, Mr. Burroughs. And again, it's like 2 pages, whereas Brewer's is like 10 or something. I don't know. And this will be written up. I want you to come down and sign it. He wants to sign his statement, blah, blah, blah. So let's now look at an interview from Burroughs, which is very interesting. If I could ever get it up. If I could ever get it up, pun intended.
What Dave Ferry said.
I think Ferry would have liked me.
I think he would have too.
So this is Mr. Butch Burroughs. I don't know when this was.
The man who killed Kennedy.
Okay. Oh, put this up.
That would be the 80s. For those playing along at home. Can't hear it. Can't hear it, Joe.
You can't hear it?
Nope.
Oy vey. I don't know why. Let me refresh it.
I don't know why either, but yeah, definitely could not hear it.
All right. Well, the sound is all the way up. So let's do take 2. If not, I'll change browsers. But all right. Can you hear it now?
But I can't see it.
What?
I can't see it, but yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, because I didn't share it because I'm an idiot.
And take 3.
Take 3.
Now I can't hear it.
What?
I can't hear it.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. All right, fuck the video. Just get
no. Let me switch browsers here.
Oiga Volta.
Brand, I don't know what's going on here.
Hoy. A policeman hit me.
A policeman hit me. All right, let's go to this.
Can't hear it. Can't hear it.
Jesus Christ. All right. I'm just gonna play it through my thingamajig. Through my
Try playing it now. Try playing it now.
because I literally have just been doing the same thing I've been doing. Like I haven't
We'll just hear the audio part. It's 30 seconds. We don't need to see him. Now can't hear it either. God damn.
Okay. I'm gonna
God damn.
here. I got it. Don't worry. So this is you could see him, right?
No.
Oh.
I can add him to the scene.
All right. Maybe this will work now. Sorry. I don't know what's happening. It's weird.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right. I'm going to do it for my phone. But I'm going to put his Scafuza face back on there.
We're playing two movies called War as Hell with Eddie Murphy and Crowd Battle with Ben Hepler. And we started the movie at 1 o'clock, and I was counting candy behind the candy case. And he also slipped in around between 1 and 1:07.
He said Oswald slipped in around 1 to 1:07.
And if that's true, he definitely could not have shot Tippett.
Right. And he, like what you read from State Secret, that would indicate he probably went right to the Texas theater.
Right. And either got a ride there or walked.
Correct. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Who knows?
But 1 to 1:07. I mean, that's not even close.
Yeah, that's way early.
Way early. And of course, he's a little, mentally not there, I guess, according to the Army. So who knows what you could take that for, but I guess our whole point here is that none of the timing works up. None of the testimonies really line up. And they took a really long time to interview these people here. And I don't know, man. I just know there's a lot of scafoozery happening here with Oswald. And the timing of the Tippett shooting, his entrance into the theater, allegedly the Oswald double, and I saw Jack said something earlier about Harvey and Lee. I'm not touching that one, but yeah, man, crazy stuff going on with these three people.
Well, yeah, you want to hear some other crazy shit?
Always. You don't have to ask me.
You're gonna love this.
Okay.
So apparently, Johnny Calvin Brewer knew Jack Ruby.
Okay.
He also was friendly with some Dallas police officers.
How friendly?
Well, let's just say this. He lived in the same apartment building as Carousel Club stripper Kathy Kay and knew her and her two young daughters. That is to say, she was dating one Harry Olson.
Yes.
Dallas police officer.
who was, I believe, at the Carousel Club on Saturday night, right?
Yep, talking to Jack Ruby in the car for 3 hours, which is interesting. And oh, by the way, Johnny Calvin Brewer also knew his buddy Nick McDonald, who just happened to be the guy that took Oswald down.
Right. Wow. It's just crazy to me that Burroughs in his Warren Commission testimony, Rob, says, I'm going to go back to this. I'm not going to put it up. Did you see a police officer strike him as an Oswald? No. Did you see a police officer with his arm around the neck of the man who arrested him? No. I don't believe so. Do you ever see a police officer strike this man, Lee, with the butt of a shotgun? No, sir. Were any of the officers in the theater armed with shotguns? No, sir. I don't believe so. And then they end it. They're like, all right, well, thanks, man. Thanks for giving us your time. When an interview doesn't go according to plan, they either change the subject or they end it. And they're hoping people like us are not going to find this shit 63 years later, 2 years later.
And also, interestingly enough, of course, there was a report from Stringfellow, who was the DPD head of the Criminal Intelligence Division or whatever.
Yeah.
Who wrote a report to Ganaway, who was his boss, and so forth. And again, this was the day after, and you mentioned that they said that Oswald had been arrested in the balcony of the Texas Theater. You'd think by then they'd have their story straight. Obviously, that's not the case. And what's also hella interesting
is the guy that saw the guy get arrested behind the theater too, taken out.
But let's take a look at what the back of the Texas Theater looked like, Joe. So here is what the rear of the Texas Theater looked like. You're kidding.
Now, as Brewer and Burroughs were covering the exits to make sure no one would leave, right?
Right. So the door on the right is the rear door through which police entered the Texas Theater, the one that Johnny Brewer opened up and allegedly let these people in, right? The cops.
Right. I believe Westbrook's car was in the back, right?
Yeah, and there was also a truck back there with the engine running that nobody seems to know who it belonged to. Now, to the left of that is a pathway that runs to the sidewalk in front of the Texas Theater. To the left, there's a pathway from the alley from to Jefferson Boulevard. Now, there was no metal door on there like there is now in 1963. It was just an open walkway. Anybody could walk behind, from in front of to behind the theater through this little alleyway, right?
Okay.
Not really an alley, just big enough for somebody to walk through. I guess bring the trash,
Yeah, maybe like a service entrance or exit, whatever.
Yeah, just something where you wouldn't have to walk all the way around a goddamn block just to get behind this place. You know what I mean? Like there's a cut. Now, what's interesting is, of course, there's that big Bernard Hare, owner of Bernie's Hobby Shop, who says that, for all these years, he thought he saw Oswald getting arrested out the back door theater.
Oh, right. That's his name.
Right. But I want to say what he saw was Johnny Brewer. Getting pulled out back, right? Because he didn't hang around inside the theater after he pointed Oswald out. They were like, all right, get the hell out of here.
Bro, and I could see how from a far distance we showed the video of Brewer, and I think it was 64. I could see how he might have thought that was Oswald.
And I was thinking, you know, so if they had Brewer out the rear entrance, and they probably stuck him in a cop car and took him down to the station, right?
Right, because they asked him. They go, "What are you doing here?"
Yes, and he's the guy that pointed him out. So I figured, okay, well, they pulled him out the back of the Texas Theater, probably stuck him in a squad car and took him down to the station. But we know that's not true because he didn't do an affidavit for how long?
16 days.
16 days.
December 6th.
So in this interview with Griggs, he says this. Let's see. There were several fists thrown in Oswald's general direction, and he was handcuffed and led out, and they led him out the aisle towards me, and we were just a couple of feet apart, and he was actually looking at me when he said, "I'm not resisting arrest." Greg says, "You heard him say that?" He said, "Right." "Did he say that to you?" He said, "No, he was just said that in general, but he was looking kind of at me. I don't know if he recognized me from the shoe store or not." And Greg said, "And they took him out through the front entrance onto West Jefferson." And he says, "Yes. And as I was going to leave, I was stopped by 2 FBI or plainclothes, and they took my name and address." And he said, and Greg says, "Well, once that was all finished, once they'd arrested Oswald and handcuffed him and took him outside and spoke to you briefly, what did you do?" And he said, "Well, he was gone by the time I got out of there. The police were all gone, and I just walked back to my store." So he was not taken immediately down. So again, we still don't know who in the hell Bernard Hare saw come out of the back of the Texas Theater and get put in a cop car, or arrested, if you will. It wasn't Brewer. I thought it might have been, but it wasn't. So again, we got a mystery inside of a mystery. And just to put it into perspective for everybody, because we talk a lot about shit here, and if you've never been to Dallas, it's kind of hard to get all this shit in your brain, okay? So let's start at the top of this picture, Joe, where you see the book depository is marked, okay? And then you to the right of that, this is where Lee Harvey Oswald gets in the taxi after the bus ride, okay? He's got to go over the Houston Street Viaduct, which goes over the river. I believe it's the Trinity River. I could be wrong. So follow the red line from Harvey and taxi as we're coming down here. You get over the viaduct, the Houston Street Viaduct. You go past the Gloco station where Tippett was allegedly sitting and waiting.
Yep. Searching cars. Yep.
Now follow the red line past the Gloco station, Gloco, and you see it come up to the corner of Beckley and Zang's, which is close to where Lee Harvey Oswald is staying at the rooming house. But instead of getting out right there, he has the driver drive 5 long city blocks past the rooming house, okay, where he gets out of the taxi and makes a hairpin U-turn back and walks back to his rooming house, okay? Now, from Oswald's rooming house, where it is, follow the yellow arrows to the left, which will bring us over, okay, to the Texas Theater on Jefferson Street. If you follow it down, follow the yellow brick road on down, okay, the yellow arrows, they bring you down to Jefferson Street. And if you make a right, if you're driving, if you make a left looking at this picture, it runs you down to the Texas Theater. And then on past that is the Top 10 record store, blah, 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 right? Now, go back to Oswald's rooming house and follow the dotted line to the right. This is Oswald's alleged route to the scene of the Tippit murder. Now, if you have every intention of going to the Texas Theater, Joe, are you going to walk that red dotted line to get there? Or are you going to go straight down Beckley to Jefferson Street? Or down Sangs to Jefferson Street?
I would 1,000,000% not take the route he did. It's not efficient whatsoever, especially if you're talking about accounting for the time of when Tippit's killed.
Right. So again, that's a mile. The red dotted line is a mile. So we're following the red dotted line down to where Tippit is murdered. Okay. Now there is a purple line from the Tippit murder scene. Okay. And it is going to run you down, if you follow it, all the way to the Texas Theater, which appears to me, if we're looking at the scale of this map, and if it's accurate, another country fucking mile. The Tippit murder scene to the Texas Theater. If you're comparing a mile in between his rooming house and the Tippit murder scene.
Even longer. Yeah.
Yeah, even longer if you take the red route from the Tippit murder scene, which is
right.
Which
is based on where the jacket was found.
Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly, he took the red route.
Right.
The purple route takes you all the way down and then into the alley behind the Texas Theater, this is Westbrook and Croy's route from the Tippit murder scene. Okay. The solid red route is Oswald's. Okay. So this is just for perspective purposes. We talk like we throw out, and there's Marsala Street all the way on the right.
Right. 1026 Marcellus. That was a great observation, bro.
Yeah. So I just thought that this was a good illustrative visual, to see how all this shit was laid out.
Yeah. All in what, 45 minutes at most?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, man, bro. I open up an app and it's 45 minutes later. You know what I mean? Like, time goes by so quickly. I don't see how it all lines up. The timing, it just nothing about it makes sense to me.
And oh, by the way, Joe.
Oh, that's his $50 bill.
This is what Oswald had in his pocket.
Right. Which allegedly his contact would have had the other half.
Correct. Interesting. This is spycraft shit.
Yeah, man. I think it was just so screwed up, and they had to connect so many dots to make this timeline work. And you have a 22-year-old kid, right, who could obviously be leaned on by police. You have Julie Postal and her criminal husband supporting 4 kids who could easily be leveraged. I see this as optimal circumstances for scaffoozery.
100%. 100%. Again, all of their testimony changes over time.
Mm-hmm.
There's things added, there's things left out. And this ranges from Burroughs to Brewer. Postal is, to me, controllable. If she's scared, her husband's in trouble with the Dallas cops. He's a fugitive from justice. He's treating her like shit and her kids.
Mm-hmm.
She could probably be made to say anything.
Yeah.
And she doesn't say much. You know, she doesn't admit to anything. Well, I can't remember. I don't know if I sold him a ticket or not. I saw him go in. I didn't see him go in. I don't know. And that's pretty much it for her, you know. Like they even have Johnny Brewer at the mock trial in the 80s when they did the mock trial thing.
Oh, really?
Oswald on trial. Yeah.
I didn't know he was there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good video. But like again, there's if you really go down this rabbit hole, it's crazy. It's crazy. And why don't we have a list of the people who were in the fucking Texas theater?
That's another thing.
Obviously, you know, especially if Oswald was there to meet somebody.
Right.
Because we have the dude moving from seat to seat, sitting beside strange people. You know, obviously for some reason, he's got $50 bill in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place to meet up because it's dark in there.
Right.
Nobody's really paying attention to who you are, really. Chances are you knowing somebody in there is slim, going to the movies on a weekday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was bugging, and I think he had a meeting point scheduled there, and I think they tried to mess with the timeline to make it all work, and would tip it. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. But
Thank you, you lick a deluga.
A lick of deluga. I was going to say it right, but you beat me to it.
We did.
Thank you. I mean, we try. We don't plan this out in advance. I mean, we kind of do, but
we are collators of information that is already out there. But you know, that's the only way we're going to get anywhere is if you start pulling some of this shit together from different sources and trying to figure it all out and see what fits together and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
What makes sense and what doesn't. What's the most likely scenario here? Somebody's lying. Oh, everything can't be true. You know, when you see people talking like Brewer, and you know, you say, all right, well, this dude's lying his ass off, and kind of sus, you know, about who he knows. And I still think it's odd that he knows Butch and Julie on a first name basis. It's odd to me. And he's only been working there a year, but you already know the people that work in the theater on a first name basis. I don't know.
Yeah,
the whole thing is just weird.
And the IBM people who he let close, he doesn't remember their names. My guess is there was someone in the theater that they did not want exposed. Whether
he didn't even disclose the fact that there's 2 Scafuzas from IBM inside his store to the Dallas police or the FBI or the Warren Commission.
Right.
These people, he doesn't know their names. They were never interviewed. They could have corroborated his story about Oswald ducking in. You know, you'd think if you have 2 guys that hang out in your store, right? And on the radio, the president's just been shot, a cop's just been shot. You're going to be talking to these other 2 guys in your store about that, like how crazy this is. And then all of a sudden, the cop cars are running up and down in front of your business, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? Oh, the cop got killed around the corner, and some guy runs in your store. Basically, it's 3-on-1 at that point. You're like, all right, boys, let's get him. But instead, he takes it upon himself to play Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, really, he does.
And track him down, book him, Dano. That's the guy.
Yeah, and I think it was Jack that had the thought, the comment that it could have legit been Brewer taken out the back. I don't rule that out at this point.
Right, but he wasn't put in a cop car. And Hare said the guy he saw was. Brewer said he walked away and went back to his shop.
Well, that's what he said.
That's what he said in 96.
Right, 96, yeah.
But again, if they would have stuck his ass in a cop car and took him back down to the station, we'd have an affidavit from November 22nd.
Right.
And we don't.
Right.
So the fact
yeah.
that they took his information, turned him loose, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me seems like it's somebody else they're talking about that got arrested out the back of the Texas Theater. And then you get into Harvey and Lee. You get into Larry Crayford possibly being the other Oswald.
That's true. Yeah,
Or
Larry Crayford definitely could have been there.
Yeah, whoever shot Tippit being the other Oswald.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. And John Armstrong has a lot of good stuff on this. Jim Mars has a lot of good stuff on this. If you want to dive in deeper, I suggest you go track it down. Again, you can find the interviews with these people in the weirdest places, like the mock trial, the men who killed Kennedy. Mark Lane, for some reason, didn't touch these people with a 10-foot pole, which is odd to me.
Yeah, that is.
He was up everybody else's ass in Dallas, but he never contacted Brewer, Burroughs, or Postal.
Yeah.
But I guess we can't ask old Mark Lane why he didn't.
We cannot, but I think it was Timothy who said this whole thing stinks to high heaven. It seems like they needed time to work out the official story, and that's why we don't have day of affidavits from anyone. That's why they lost the manifest for the Texas Theater, everything. Westbrook in the back, whatever. Oh yeah,
Total mess.
total mess.
But anyway, that's a show, Joe.
That's a show. That's a pod.
That's a pod. That's a show. Grab the damn dog. That's it for us. It's Friday night. Let's get out of here. Let's go party some more. Folks, thank you so much for hanging with us here tonight.
He said, "Come to Bourbon
We
Street,
hope you
and I'll
learned
show
something.
you what I think of the case."
Or if you didn't. We try. There's Ruby. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the show. It's been one hell of a year, Joe.
It has.
But it ain't over yet, folks.
Nope.
Because we got one more for you before the new year hits. We don't know what we're going to do yet.
The greatest crimes are committed in the name of
Apparently, Joe has a plan.
The quotation is Jim.
Yeah. Well, we have a members only on the 31st, but the next regular show will be on the 2nd. So,
yes.
If you are not a member, have a happy New Year, and if you're not a member, what the hell are you doing? Become one.
Yeah. Because again, for the third time this month, members only will be open to all levels of membership next week. But that'll be it until the end of January. So good time to become a member before the new year is done.
Yes.
Thank you, folks, for checking it out. Good night. We are some hard-working mofos. Sometimes.
We try, but we couldn't do this without you guys and all your support and listens and views and all that good shit. So thank you so much. Happy holidays, happy New Year, and we love you. We'll see you on Wednesday, and then next year, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks, folks. We out. Peace.
Peace, guys.
Peace.